But is that to say that there are no nice guys generally? Like every guy who is just trying to be a decent person, a decent boyfriend, a decent husband to the lady is just putting up a front?
As a rule of thumb, I'm not saying that it's a one size fits all.
Yeah.
But a majority of the time, you will find that we have this syndrome, and it's a crazy syndrome that
Yeah.
everyone has to root out of themselves, because this Mr. Nice Guy is just someone who needs to, and it has affected, none the wiser, it has affected the great, the middle, and the other men that are in this society.
Yeah.
No one is saved because you want to project yourself in a certain way.
Yeah.
But it would be of so much value,
Yeah.
Annette, if Mr. Nice Guy could just embrace the imperfections perfectly, as in like to be perfect in the imperfection, knowing, accepting themselves as a work in progress, and not trying to overcompensate. For example, Mr. Nice Guy will be out with the boys, and they're having a good time and chilling and shooting some pool and good music, and they're chilling.
Yeah.
And then the woman would call, and you see him running like Kipchoge, this close to beating Kipchoge's record. To go to a quiet place so that they can, tuko maombolezi na huku Rumuruti, I'll be there by 5. I'll be there. Tuko nuku. So Mr. Nice Guy, without even knowing, ends up being a liar over and over and over. And unfortunately for Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Nice Guy, as much as he is usually friend-zoned, at times they graduate and get into the relationship. And Mr. Nice Guy gets into the relationship with his masking imperfections, with his masking ways.
Yeah.
And unfortunately also, Mr. Nice Guy gets into marriage with his masking imperfections. And they do it year on year and year on year, hiding and hiding and hiding and hiding and lying and covering up, and in no time it catches up with them. It could take 1 year or 5 years or 10 years or 14 years or whatever number of years.
Yeah.
But it will always come out, and eventually they realize, wait a minute. So of course they until they root themselves out of the Mr. Nice Guy syndrome,
Yeah.
they will end up in the same charade all their life, until that day when they snap out of it and realize, wow, let me be expressive, let me be myself, let me be my own man, let me express what I feel. If I'm agreeable to this thing, I'll voice it out as is. And of course, there's always an extreme.
Yeah.
One side of the stick is the extremely Mr. Nice Guy that usually ends up being friend-zoned. And then there's a graduation of that, a Mr. Nice Guy who's not does not suck up too much. He's doable, so it can be taken up. And the scale goes all the way until it gets to the bad boy. And the majority of the time, you'll find that women prefer the bad boy because they want to give themselves an assignment and to change this bad boy into the church-going, morally right man.
I think we have a different outlook or perspective on who Mr. Nice Guy is.
Yeah.
And please, guys, write in the comment section, what is your ideology of Mr. Nice Guy?
Yes.
Because for me,
Yes.
as opposed to Harry's Mr. Nice Guy,
Yes.
I think how I look at Mr. Nice Guy is someone who literally, they have their own, they have their own mind, they have their own say.
Yes.
But because they care about this person, they would comfortably just go out of their way to make this person comfortable, to make life easier for this person because they care about them.
Yeah.
To the extent that I am with you,
Yes.
and I've decided to be with you, I care about you.
Yes.
So when you want chocolate,
Yes.
I'll pass by and get you chocolate.
Yes.
If you want me to probably dress a certain way,
Yes.
I'll say this is the extent of which I should go. Don't try and change my personality. For me, Mr. Nice Guy has a say.
Yes.
It's only that he goes out of his way to make life a bit easier for his significant other. And so what does that look like?
Yes.
For me, it looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Making sure that Mr. Nice Guy knows my favorite meal.
Yes.
Yeah, so when we go to a restaurant, he will ask me first, would you like to take your usual, or do we want to do something else tonight? You see? That is basically being considerate.
The bad boy will come and say,
And
"Learn
order for,
mutura."
yes. In fact, he will order for us. He will not even, hauna hata chance ya I'm ordering for us. This is what we are going to. This is what we're going to eat. But Mr. Nice Guy is like, are you feeling like your usual,
Yes.
or are we changing up things? That is Mr. Nice Guy for me. Mr. Nice Guy knows that as stubborn as I am,
Yes.
I will wear heels and we will go. They will start hurting, and he knows now at this point, huyu msichana is tembea more than this.
Nimbebe. Come up, mom.
Thank you. Ladies, you leave the house, you want to freeze and shine, you deliberately leave your jacket at home.
Yes.
Mr. Nice Guy will take his jacket.
And freeze to death.
Yes.
So that you will continue his legacy.
Exactly. Yes. So Mr. Nice Guy is in essence considerate
Yes.
of his partner. In many levels,
Yes.
including touching base during the day. Again, how does it look like? It looks like calling in and just touching base. How is your day? How are you doing? If he's not busy.
Yes.
If he's busy, we'll touch base in the evening.
Yes.
Mr. Nice Guy is considerate to that point.
Yes.
You had a bad day, come, I'll rub your feet. I'll make you dinner. Yes, I'll run the bath for
Too
you.
many movies. Too many movies. You need to reduce your intake of movies. I think at Life Codes we want to encourage grounding.
That is someone who is very considerate and knows and strives to know you and make your life a little less hectic. Because as it is, life is hectic. So you want someone in your life who does not add to that hectic.
Yes.
You see, that is Mr. Nice Guy for me.
I ask you this.
He's not pretending.
Yes.
He's genuinely caring.
Yes.
And he goes out of his way
Yes.
to make life a little bit better and more comfortable for you.